Hey there, Wargamers! Welcome back to another episode of The Road to Precipice, where we are exploring the Blackstone Fortress and we're taking our explorers through to find the hidden vault. For everyone who tuned in last time, we did finish off just going into another combat encounter, so that is where we are going to pick up. So we have Janice Drake, the twins of, the rattling twins of Rain and Rouse, Esper and Locarno, and 025 ready to go into another big encounter. So we're going to go take a look at that and see how it pulls out. And remember, of course, if you guys like this content, be sure to hit that like and subscribe video. It does a lot to really help this channel grow. It allows me to do more things, so that'd be great if you can go ahead and do that. And of course, always leave your comments below. Let me know what you like, what you didn't like, and what I can improve on. Anyway, let's go take a look at that common encounter and see how our heroes get through the day. We do have the board completely set up here. We have our we have the 4 discovery points, so 3, 1, 4, and 2. And this is a big map, so this is going to be something I'm going to have to be very careful about how I split everyone up. Because obviously, as soon as the portal is summoned, someone's going to have to make a bit of a mad dash to it. And considering Rain and Rouse have already suffered 1 grievous wound on this expedition, I got to be careful about them. But first things first, we got to find out what we're fighting here. So group number 1 is going to be a group of 4 Urguls. Group number 2, we are looking at 5 Traitor Guardsmen. Group number 3 is a Blackhound. A maximum range of all attacks is 3 hexes. That might be useful for me. And number 4 is Terrifying Howls. Increase the cost of move actions for explorers from 1+ to 2+. Oh my. Okay, so that's going to really hurt my my exploration ability. The upside is I'm not encountering as many enemies this time around, so that's kind of nice. I don't know if that's going to be the make or break for me on this one, but it means I'm only dealing with groups in 1 and 2, so there's going to be a group there and a group up there. And then everyone else is moving a little bit slower. It does, however, mean that who's only moving, because he's not inspired, he's only moving 1 hex for every time he moves. He's going to be moving really slow at this point. But anyway, it is the way of things. So we're going to get the initiative deck put together and get going. We got our enemies set up. The Urguls are hanging out by discovery point number 1, and then we got the 5 Traitor Guardsmen by discovery point number 4. No, sorry, 2. And let's find out what our initiative. So going first, we have Janice Drake, followed by 025. Group number 1, so the Urguls. Rain and Rouse. Group number 2, so the Guardsmen, followed by Esper and Locarno. And I think I'm happy with that setup there. So let's find out what sort of dice we're looking at. So Rain and Rouse, who only have 3 dice because of the grievous wound. 1, 3, and 5. So that's 1 die that's effectively not doing anything. So that's not good. 025. So once again, 1 die that's not doing anything. So that's definitely not good. And okay, Janice Drake with 2 dice that aren't doing anything. This is a really rough setup for me here. The first turn is not going to be much of anything. And, oh, Esper and Locarno. Okay, so he can do some stuff. So I'm going to have to figure out where everyone is going here. And then we do have the Fate dice, or Destiny dice here. And those 2 are cocked. So let's see here. We got, that 5 is still cocked, unfortunately. Oh, lovely. So Esper and Locarno is going to give me a second one of those 2s, and then the rest go in here. So these 1s are going to be a bit murder this time around. But it is what it is. So anyway, let's go into the first turn. Starting with Janice Drake, I'm going to take the 5 and the 6, and he's going to move 1, 2, and I think he's going to go deal with the Urguls. So he's going to head down to there, and I believe at this point, what he's going to do is he's going to take the 2 from the Destiny die just to get down into cover here. And he's going to make use of the last 2 dice of his to do Overwatch attacks with the pistol and rapier. Because otherwise he's just firing into cover there. And that's just not very useful for us. But that is his turn out of the way. Which brings us to 025. And he's going to go up and deal with the guardsman up there. So he gets a whopping 1 movement per. So 1, 2. I'm going to use some fate dice. 3, 4. I hate having to use as many fate dice as I did there, but it is just an aspect of life. But that does bring us to group number 1, which is the Urguls. And boning up on the Overwatch attacks, I just realized I can't actually take any Overwatch attacks because those ones of Janus Drakes need to become, lose one basically. So they would need to have been 2s, which is really unfortunate. But we do have the Urguls here, so we're going to find out what they are going to be doing. So we just got to locate my trusty D20 here. There it is, the Blackstone die. And we're going to find out they are doing a 20, which in this case, they all have line of sight. And they're within 2 or 3 hexes, at least this first guy is right here. So we'll start with him. So we have a pounce attack. So if there's an explorer adjacent and visible, so not adjacent, take an onslaught. Otherwise, take a charge with reroll failed attacks for whatever action is taken. So he will just charge, so move forward up to there. And he is going to attack with his lovely little purple die here, the D8s. And as always, he makes 3 attack rolls. So the first one, nothing. Second one is a grievous wound. Now, thankfully, Janus Drake is inspired here, so hopefully he gets something out of this. Okay, so he does get his the swashbuckler, because I did get the critical success there. So he's going to attack the Urgul back for a grievous wound, and he's actually going to kill the Urgul. All right, that's actually quite useful for me. Fantastic. But we got 3 more of these guys to deal with. So we got an 18. So an 18 is going to be a charge. No, in this case they are 1, 2, 3. They're 4 hexes out. So it's actually going to be a rush in this case. So it's move towards the closest explorer, then charge. So 1, 2, and then his charge. And he gets his 3 attacks. Nothing. Nothing. And nothing. Okay, next Urgul is doing a 20, so that is going to be a pounce. So once again, that is actually just a charge action here. So 1, 2, what's their movement anyway? Oh, their move is 3, so a charge action will actually get them in. And he got his attacks with rerolls, so nothing. So the reroll, nothing. There's 1 regular wound. Janus Drake will do his swashbuckling thing and attack back for a grievous wound. All right. That is fantastic. And we got the last one over here, which is an 8. So in this case, we are looking at a fallback move, which is a little weird, but that is what he's doing. But that is group number 1 all done. Rain and Rouse just going to make a couple of double team actions, and they're going to go up and just help out here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and that is pretty much all they're able to do because their last dice are 1s. So unfortunately, that is their churn, and that'll bring us to the Guardsmen. We're going to start from the leftover. So starting with the Flamethrower, he's going to get a result of 14, so he is out of line of sight. They're definitely not close, so this is going to be the hidden one. So on a 14, we are looking at a charge. So he's just going to go 1, 2, and I think his movement is only 2. Yeah, his movement is 2. So he does 1, 2, and then he makes an attack, but there's still no one in sight. So he's just going to finish off that charge by going 1, 2. Oh, no, he's got to go to there, actually, because of the red lines. But that is the end of his one there. So the Sergeant, we are looking at a 10. So once again, out of line of sight. So we are looking at an advance move. So for the advance move, he's just going to be moving 1, 2, and that will be it because he doesn't have line of sight on anyone. So the guy with the club is looking at a 19 in the hidden result here. So we are looking at a charge. So he's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and just get there. The Las Gunner is looking at an 11. So this is just an advance. So 1, 2, and the very last one here is a 1, which is a hold. So the last little club guy is just going to hang out there, and that will bring us to Esper and Locarno's turn. Locarno is going to use a couple of his dice, just go 1, 2, 3, and I think he's going to just back up Rain, Rouse, and here. Janus Drake, I think, is going to be okay on his own. So he'll go 4, so that's 2 dice right there. So that's his 2 and his 3. And I think what we'll do there, because he's 3 hexes away from some of these traitor guardsmen up here, we are going to try some third eyes. So we're going to grab our trusty D12 here and do a third eye against the Flamer. for nothing. And we're going to do that one more time. For nothing. Okay, that's not good. But that does bring us to the end of the turn. So we got to roll on the event die. And we got ourselves a 3. So on a 3 for the event die, we have an unfulfilled destiny. We do not make a destiny roll at the start of the next turn. Okay, that's just fantastic. But that is the end of the first round. Moving into the next round, we got to find our initiative. And we have group number 1 going first. That is the Urguls, followed by Janice Drake. So I think he's going to be attempting a gambit. 025. All right, who's next here? Aegisbrand Locarno, followed by the Guardsman, and then Rain and Rouse. So we are going to attempt a gambit here. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab the D12 for the inspired Janice Drake to try and get ahead of the hostile group number 1, which is a 1. So he will be swapping with that group, which means he's going before the Urguls, which hopefully means he'll be taking some guys out there. But before we do that, we got to find out the action dice here. So Rain and Rouse, 1, 2, and 6. So there's 1 stub gun attack in there, a couple double teams possibly. So not terrible, but could have been better. 025, we are looking at a 6, 2, and a 4. So he's going to hopefully gun down some of those guardsmen before they become a problem. Janice Drake looking at a 1, 3, 6, and a 4. So that 1 is sadly not doing anything for us. And then we have Aegisbrand Locarno, who once again is looking at some great dice there. So if can't take out those guardsmen, Aegisbrand probably will be able to help out quite a bit with it. I'm going to take his 6, and we're going to do a flurry of attacks against the Urgul here. And we're going to start off with a grievous wound, so that's great. So using the 3, he's just going to move forward 1, 2, and he's then going to use his 1 to do a pistol and rapier attack against the Urgul there. And we are looking at another grievous wound. Okay, so Janice Drake is on fire today. That's great. So his last action, he's going to use that 4, and he's just going to get up onto the 1 spot, so we can hopefully search it next turn. We do have to roll to see if the Urguls reinforce on their turn, which they do not. So thankfully, no Urguls to deal with this turn. So that is going to bring us into 025's turn. So with we are going to start off with his 6, and we are going to do a Mark 1 assault cannon attack, 3 of them, up against this group right here. So starting, I want to get rid of that flamer. So let's see, the first one up is a grievous wound, so that is gone. And then against the sword and board, nothing, followed by another grievous wound. So my dice are really on fire today, so that's kind of good for me. And I think what he's going to do next is he's going to take advantage of his movement. Oh, but he only has... Oh, geez, I don't know. Because if I move him up, he's just going to get in the way of things. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to move him up 1... yeah, we're going to get him right up into their grill, I think. I hate to do that, but I think that's what I got to do. That does bring us to Aegisbrand Locarno, and he's going to spend 2 dice to get into the same hex as up there. So we're going to take the 4 and the 5, and we are then going to do some force caning against the guy right in front of him. So it is a D12 here for a grievous wound. Fantastic. And I think what we're then going to do is we're just going to move, we're going to take Aegisbrand Locarno's last die, and we're just going to move him back into cover there. And that will bring us to group 2. So we got to see if they reinforce. No reinforcements for group 2. So starting with the sergeant there, we are looking at a 3. So they are definitely within line of sight, and they are close. So we are looking at, they're looking at a fallback. So he's just going to go 1, 2. And hide like the coward that he is, followed by the guy with the club there, and we are looking at, let's see, he is not hidden, he's in line of sight, he's within range 3, so he's looking at a charge. So he's just going to get up there, and he is going to charge 025, and at this range, he is doing 2 of the D8s here, and I believe the charge grants some rerolls, but doesn't matter, there is a critical success, grievous wound, so so I can block that, or I can just take the regular wound. Oh, you know what? It's early on. I'm going to take my shots here and hopefully get the grievous one. No, so it's just becoming a regular wound for but that is one less die that he's going to be working with. Rain and Rouse are up next, and they don't really have a whole lot they can do here, because one of their dice is a 1, so that's just going to be a stub gun. So we're going to do a double team, so 1, 2, and then another double team to get them right into the same hex as here. And they will then just do a single stub gun attack against this guy for a single wound. So the lack of enemy groups are definitely helping so far for me, because we're down to just 2 enemies on the table, but we do have an event die. And we have a 15, which I do believe is inspiration. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to give that to Aegisbrand Locarno and bring him up to 2 inspiration points and move on to the next round. We do, however, have to see if either Janus Drake or 025 are inspired due to their casualties they've inflicted. So Janus Drake is not. He was looking for, I believe he was looking for a 4 or under here. No, he was looking for a 6 or under. And the Urguls, or not the Urguls, what's his name? 025. He unfortunately was looking for a 6, which he got a 9. So no inspiration points. Moving into the next round, we have our initiative. So we're going to be starting off with group number 1, so the Urguls might reinforce, followed by the Guardsmen. Then we have Janus Drake, 025. Rain and Rouse, and Aegisbrand Locarno is up last. Alright, so the Guardsmen are going to be going first. We are looking at, that would be an otherwise wonderful roll. But I lose those 2 5s, and I get to keep the rest because of Aegisbrand Locarno's ability. And now we have just our individual abilities. So Rain and Rouse are looking at 1, 2, and 2. That is just atrocious. This might be the turn that we start seeing some real casualties. And then 025 is looking at a 5, 6, and a 6. Oh, no, I got to re-roll that because he only has 2 activity die. So we'll take Boxcars then. Okay, that's fantastic. Moving on to Janus Drake is 1, 5, 5, and 2. Okay, so that's going to give him some leeway to do what he needs to do and hopefully catch up with the rest of the group. And Aegisbrand Locarno, 1, 3, 2, and 4. Okay, and I think someone might be just running up there to get that portal, and I think that might be Aegisbrand Locarno's duty this turn. But anyway, moving into it. So group number 1, do they reinforce? On a 19, they do not. Group number 2, do they reinforce? 20, they do not. So, starting with the Sergeant, we have a 19. He is out of line of sight, so he's hidden. So it is going to be a charge move. So he's just going to go 1, 2, and he is then going to shoot into that combat there. And I believe what he has a pistol and a melee weapon. So it is range 2 to 3. So he's going to be shooting. And he's going to shoot because has the reroll. And nothing for but I believe a charge does grant rerolls on the attack here. Oh, no, it does not. Okay. So that's actually good for him. So that means he is all done. And the guy with the club is looking at a 7. And he is engaged. So we're looking at an onslaught. So he's basically going to be going to town twice here. So he's also going to go up against So that is 1 single wound here against reroll. Is fine. And then the second attack is Grievous. Oh, you know, I can't have go down to 1, so I got to re-roll this. And of course it's worse as a result. So is now suffering a grievous wound. So that means is actually just down to 1 action left. So I got to be very careful about what I do here. Thankfully, that is the end of the Traitor Guardsman's turn, which is still rather rough. But we're going to go into the hero's turn. Drake is going to search the discovery point with one of his 5s, and he's going to use his Auspex to basically pull the top, top 5, I believe? Yeah, top 6, and choose one there. So what do we got? We got some Archaeotech, more Archaeotech. Hey, look at more Archaeotech, and Archaeotech. So that's a pretty easy solution. I'm going to take the 2 Archaeotech here, and the rest are going to get shuffled back in. But it is one of the discovery points out of the way here. And he's just going to use the rest of his dice, and he's just going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And you know what? He's going to use the 3 from the Destiny dice to move on to spot 3 here. And he's going to use the, he's going to use one of the 4s from the Destiny dice. And he's just going to search one more time. So I'm going to get this all shuffled up and then draw the top card. Everything's shuffled up, and he is going to draw a clue. And this is also putting him very close to his limit for how many cards he can actually carry. So at the end of this exploration round, he may very well have to pawn some stuff off. Or I might actually just make a decision to go back, but we'll find out. Anyway, moving on to here, we got 025, and what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use that 6, and I'm going to try and mow down as many of these guardsmen as I can, just because I can't really take much more. I actually can't mow down the guy right in front of him. So what we're going to do then instead... Okay, yeah, so instead what we're going to do is we're going to use a power claw attack against the guy right in front of me. No. We're gonna do the Mark 1 assault against the sergeant there. And perfect. That gets rid of him. Okay, but that is all can do. So I think for his next action, he is he's not gonna. I'm not gonna use that Destiny die. Could I? You know what? He's gonna use the Destiny die and do a what is this? A power claw attack against the last guardsman. So we have just 1 regular wound, and I think the guardsmen, they only have 2. So that is it for him. So that is good. That is the guardsman done and allows me to just kind of get my own stuff done at this point. Rain and Rouse are going to use their dice that allow them to do something. They're just going to do a couple double team actions over onto 2 there. Now, unfortunately, that 1 that I have left is not letting me do anything. So that's going to bring us over to Esper and Locarno, and he's going to use some of his dice there. He's going to use 2 of them to go right over here to spot number 4, and he's going to use that 4 to search, and he is going to actually pull a Lost Volume for Rain and Rouse. So that's actually really useful, considering Rain and Rouse is a bit injured. It does mean that, going into the next combat, if I do go into another one, they're probably going to be inspired, which is fantastic. But that does bring us to the end of this round. So we have the event die. So a roll of a 5, not dead yet. All right, that's fantastic. So what that means is that we are getting back 1 enemy that was slain this round, and put him as close to a guy as possible. So unfortunately, it looks like Rain and Rouse is getting a nice little visit from a guy with a club there. So that's unfortunate. And then let's see here. We have we got to see if gets an inspiration point, looking for a 4 or under, but no, he does not. So that's going to bring us into the next combat round. So let's find out the initiative. And we're starting with Rain and Rouse. That's excellent because he's right next to an enemy. Followed by Then we have group number 2. So there's the guardsman, which hopefully will be dead by then. Group number 1 for the Ghouls. Esper and Locarno. And Janice Drake. So it is not a bad setup there. So right off the bat, we do have Rain and Rouse. So what we got to do is we got to find out our actions, though. So Rain and Rouse are getting 3, 4, and a 6. So finally something useful that they can work with there. 025 is looking at a 2, so that's enough to move them, sadly. And, okay, Janice Drake is going to be able to catch up with the rest of the group, which is very important there. And Esper and Locarno is looking at, that 5 is cocked. That's a 3. So one dead die there, it looks like, unfortunately. But it is something at least. And then we have our Destiny dice, which are looking at, that 5 is cocked. All 3 of these are cocked. Okay, so I get 1 of these. That's great. So I'll take the 5, and everything else will just go into the dead pool there. And we're going to go to Rain and Rouse. So Rain and Rouse, we're going to do a double team action for the stub pistol here, and just hope that we can maybe take out this guardsman. So the first one is nothing, followed by 1 wound. So got to do 1 more there. So we're going to do another double team action. Nothing, and nothing. Okay. I think, okay, yeah, I'm going to do this 1 more time. Nothing, and Okay, so that is the last wound that was needed. So that's good. But it took all the abilities right there. And I think at this point what we're going to do is Rain and Rouse are going to search. And we're going to pull some Archie attack for them. But that does end their turn. Which brings us to And is just going to start moving over here, I think. So he's going to take the Destiny die and his one other die. He's just going to move 2 right over there. But now we have to see if the enemy groups reinforce. So do the guardsmen reinforce? No. Close, but not quite. And then the Urguls are also not reinforcing, which brings us to Aegisbrand Locarno. And he's just going to use all his dice here. Just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Which is, unfortunately, all his dice, so he can't summon anything just yet. And then Janice Drake all the way down here is going to be doing the same. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, which will bring us to the end of the turn. So we have to see if Rain and Rouse get some inspiration here. Nope. And the event die is an 8. So on a roll of an 8, we have changing condition cards. So we have to draw an encounter card. If the card has a twist, we apply it for the rest of the combat. Otherwise, we just move on. So grabbing an encounter card here. There is a twist, so Endless Hordes. So we now are re-rolling reinforcements. Great. Okay. But that's okay. I'm bunching up here, so we're doing okay. But let's go into the next combat round. Alright, let's see what our initiative is. We have group number 1, so the Urguls going up first, followed by Janice Drake. Group number 2, Aegisbrand Locarno, 025, and Rain and Rouse. Okay, so the enemy groups are coming up first. They get a chance to reinforce with a reroll. Rain and Rouse are looking at some terrible die there, so hopefully the tram is here for me when I'm ready for it. Is not going anywhere this turn, not without Destiny dice anyway. And then Janice Drake is pretty good roll there. Okay, that's pretty darn good actually. And Aegisbrand Locarno, not a bad roll. He's got enough to summon the Maglev, and that's kind of the important thing here. And I think what we are going to do... No, Drake is happy with where he is, because I think, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So with some Destiny dice, he should be able to get the tram ready for everyone. Oh, that 2 and that 6 are cocked. So, okay, so we get... we'll take the 5 and the 3, and everything else, unfortunately, goes away. And that's going to bring us into turn 1. So, starting with group number 1, which was the Urguls over here. No reinforcement. Then Janice Drake, who's going to use all 4 of his dice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then he'll use the 5 to summon the Maglev there. So we do have our escape point. So next turn, everyone should be able to get out of there. I almost forgot the Urguls. Do they reinforce? They get the reroll? No. And then the Guardsmen. Oh, the Guardsmen are coming back in. So what are we looking at? On a 3, 2 Guardsmen pop their head back in. So these 2 Guardsmen are going to deploy next to the nearest portal, which is right over here. And then they will both just kind of get a move action to move a little bit closer. But it shouldn't really be an issue at this point. So, the rest of the team followed Aegisbrand Locarno. He's going to use his dice to get in there. 025 is going to use the 3 that's available, and he's just going to move forward 1. And then Rain and Rouse are just going to use... They're going to double team to get into there, and that will bring us to the end of the round, which gives us an event die, which is going to be a 13. On a 13, it is an escape chamber, which we've already summoned that, so nothing happens there. So let's get ready for the next round. And if all our heroes go before the enemies, this should be a pretty quick round. So we got group number 2. So that is the Guardsmen, followed by Aegisbrand Locarno, who's pretty much happy where he is. Rain and Rouse. 025. Janice Drake. And the Urguls. Okay. And now let's find out what our action dice are. So, Rain and Rouse. That 5 is cocked. It's still 5. Okay. So that is, they're happy in where they are. 025, that is enough to move them once at least. God, I gotta get them inspired. Janice Drake, that 2 is cocked. There we go. So that is enough to get him into the Maglev, and that's pretty much where we're at the moment. And Esperin Locarno is, yeah, he's just happy where he is. I think I said Esperin Locarno when I was talking about Rain and Rouse earlier. Not that it really matters. And then our Destiny Dice. I'm hoping for at least one of these for So I get a 2 and a 6. Jeez, I'm rolling a lot of doubles today. Okay, and that's going to bring us to group number 2. So we're going to see if the guardsmen reinforce, which they don't just yet. Nope, they are not going to reinforce. So the guy with the club is rolling a 1. So I think that's actually a fallback. Nope, that's a hide. No, that's not a hide because they are within view. So it is an advance. So 1, 2. And he does have a las pistol, and he does have line of sight on there, but is a max range of 3. So there is no more going on there. And then the sergeant is rolling a 4, which in this case is also an advance. So 1, 2. And that ends their turn, which means everyone else is just going to pile in here. So Rain and Rouse are going to go back there. Janice Drake, is going to use his Destiny Dice to get in there. Janice Drake's going to go there. And as long as the girls do not reinforce, well, even if they do reinforce, which they did not, that is going to end the combat encounter. So we're going to get to the Maglev and see what happens next. Coming to the end of the exploration round, we do get to see if any wounds are recovered here. So starting with, I guess only because he has wounds to recover. His regular wound, that's cocked, unfortunately. Nothing. And we're going to see if he can recover his grievous wound. So his grievous wound does... Oh, what does he do here? So I'm in a very tough position here. Because he's down to 1 action die. There's still possibly 2 combat encounters remaining on this expedition. So he's not going to be very effective. Like, he's going to have to start using his own turns to, like, just recover himself. I think I'm going to risk it. We're going to go on here. So, usual caveat applies. If this is a combat encounter, you can look for that in the next video. Otherwise, we're going to do the challenge right away. So, we are looking at another combat encounter. Okay. So, all right. Interesting. This is another big one. So, we're going to get that set up, and we will wrap everything up. We got the next encounter laid down here. So, we have 4 points. So, 2, 3, 1, and 4 up there. And it is a big one, as you can see. And only 2 portals to escape, so everyone is going to be working their way to this back room there. But anyway, you can look forward to that in the next video. So thank you so much for watching. I hope everyone enjoyed. Let me know in the comments below what you thought. And of course, thank you so much for watching. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button, and we will see you next time. Happy wargaming.